Good morning. Good morning. It is Saturday and it's preseason time. So today, this morning, we are lucky to have a game, and it's the Niners versus the Broncos. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. What's also a lot of fun is I'm going to the game. So I'm gonna take Tony, and we got lucky. We were able to win some tickets from a really nice YouTube channel. Please go check them out. East Coast Red and Gold podcast. But we're going to go to the game today, and we're going to go to the Red Zone rally. And I've never done that before. That's going to be a lot of fun. We'll take some pictures. I think there's going to be a lot of fun there. Meet some people, and then we're going to head to our seats later in the day. I'm going to try to meet up with a couple people that are looking forward, and I'm looking forward to meeting them. And we'll go from there and sit down and watch the game. I believe they said that Brock Purdy is going to get to play a little bit, so that's going to be interesting. They also said that they're going to play Sam Darnold and Trey Lance and Brendan Allen. Both kickers are supposed to be playing, so that's going to be exciting. I'd like to see them both make their kicks and then just keep it a competition. Keep these guys competing against each other until the end of until the time's up, until that 90-man roster comes, and we have to make a decision. And once they make a decision, then we can go from there. Nobody wants to see anybody get cut, but then nobody wants to see anybody lose draft stock or capital or anything like that. Let's not get the value out of the picks that we've used. Pick 99, third round comp. It's almost a fourth. It's almost a fourth, but that's okay. We'll take it. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, we could have used it for something different." Well, sure, and somebody else or a different position might not have made the team. So, Jake Moody, we are looking to you today. We are hoping that you can bounce back, and everybody else too. We'd like to see some of the tight ends bounce back. They got to hold on to the ball, and Ronnie Bell played really well. He's got to make those catches, though. They can't go through his hand. He's got to make those catches. And other than that, we're just gonna see what's going on. Take a bunch of pictures. Anytime you go to the game, take pictures. That always helps. Helps with being able to go back and look at things and say, "Oh wow, yeah, that was really awesome." So let's look at the series between the Broncos and the Niners. This is only a preseason game, but there's definitely a matchup that we've had going back for a while, and the series right now is tied 8-8. It goes back to it goes back to the 70s. That's when we first got to play them. Denver 14, 49ers 19. So we won the first matchup. 49ers 36, Denver 34. We won the second matchup. Now Denver starts winning. Denver 38, 49ers 28. San Francisco 21, Denver 24. Oh boy. San Francisco 16, Denver 17. Now we have an overtime. Denver 16, 49ers 13. You guys know that's a field goal game. And then here's our Super Bowl, 55-10. That's one of the biggest Super Bowls point differentials that had ever happened. Now we look, and we're going to go to Denver, 1994, the Super Bowl year for the Niners, 19-42. And then we have 97. 97 is Denver 17, 49ers 34. 2000, 49ers 9, Denver 38. Ouch. Denver 24, 49ers 14. And now we have another overtime. San Francisco 26, Denver 23. Let's go Denver. This is 2010. Denver 16, 49ers 24. Oh boy. 2014, the good year, right? San Francisco 17, and we have Denver 42. That's almost as bad as the Super Bowl. Denver 14. This is in 2018. Denver 14, 49ers 20. So we bounce back on that one. And then, this is a fun one right here. 2022, San Francisco 10, Denver 11. I don't think we'll ever forget that game. And if we do forget that game, oh my gosh, hopefully we don't remember it again. The pick 6 or the pick 8. So, oh my gosh. The one game that I'm really not happy with, and I can't find it here. I thought it was a 3. So maybe it is 2000. Maybe if anybody in the chat can help me out and let me know. But the game I really hate, really hate. Just a second. I'm going to clean up my camera for a second, guys. Oh, I'm coming back. Don't go nowhere. All right. Let's get my camera working. Boom. There we go. Now I'm a little cleaner. All right. And I have a friend. Let's bring him on in. But good morning. Good morning.
How's it going, my man?
Doing pretty good. Getting excited. Going to go to the game here a little bit. Wanted to do a quick show before, get everybody hyped. I'm hyped. I barely could sleep. But, well, I was trying to think of that game. Remember when Mile High, when they ended Mile High? It was the last game of Mile High. The 49ers played the Broncos that game. And it was, yeah. And I can't find it in the score record, but I thought we got blew out. I thought that we just barely scored a field goal, and we just totally got shut down. But I don't. Maybe it was a preseason
When was it
game.
shut down?
That's going to be my next thing I got to Google, because I'm looking at the sports scores right now, and maybe it was 2000. Maybe it was 12-23-2000.
I'm Googling it.
Because that game right there is San Francisco 9, Denver 38. And they totally routed us. It was their last game of their history in that stadium. They weren't going to lose that game. So
I actually went to that stadium. It was actually a really nice stadium.
How many stadiums have you been to?
3.
3?
I've been to the ones up here in Seattle, Mile High. Or actually 4, because I went to Candlestick and Levi's.
Did you ever get to go to the Kingdom?
The Kingdom? Yeah. Did I go to the Kingdom? Not for football. I never actually went for football. I went to a couple baseball games there.
And what's that stadium like?
The Kingdom?
Yeah.
Well, it's been gone for 15 years. It was just a big dome. But, so I mean, by the time I went to it, it was already falling apart for the most part when I moved here in '97.
Yeah.
So it was already on its last leg. So it was kind of a shitty stadium. But I mean, Lumen Field is kind of, pretty nice field.
Yeah. The Seahawks.
Speaking of Lumen Field, we we transport logistics, and one of the things that we were transporting yesterday was the Cowboys tablets.
Uh-huh.
I was like, I really want to open up this box. I don't want to take one or anything like that. I just want to go through and see what NFL players have. What do they actually have on the sidelines on those tablets? So
yeah.
I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah, if they got like solitaire or something on their tablet or something like that.
They're not actually looking at videos and pictures. They're playing solitaire and whatever.
Yeah. Hey, did you hear that story about? I just came out the other day. I think it was Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews or Mark Adams. I think it's Mark Adams. He was on East Coast Red and Gold, and he was talking about Joe Montana, the phones on the side of the field and stuff like that. He'd go over there and pick them up, and then if he heard a dial tone, he'd dial extension 9 and call out. He'd call his wife during the game. He'd just be like, "Hey," and she's like, "What are you doing?
What's for dinner?"
That's kind of cool, though.
I think the funniest one was it Shannon or Sterling Sharp, whichever one of the Sharp brothers it was. They said, "We call the president. We are whooping their ass."
Oh yeah, that was a big highlight clip. All right, so were you able to find the game that they ended their? They changed stadiums?
Just video on it. I'm
okay.
Not saying anything about the actual.
I'm going to try to Google it too. Their new stadium is really cool. Pat McAfee, he got to, not Pat McAfee, I'm sorry, Tom Grossi, he got to go up onto the top. I didn't realize they had actually like a catwalk on the top of the Broncos Stadium.
I'll have to ask TJ if he went, because he went to that game last year up there.
Okay.
I can't see anything where it says like the actual last game.
I might try to pull it up. All right, last game.
Nice. Oh, there we go.
December 23rd, 2000. Okay. Broncos played their last game at Mile High on December 23rd, 2000. Next year, the team moved into Empower Field at Mile High. So, okay. And then let's see
Yeah,
who
we did get whipped in that game.
we got whooped bad.
Yeah.
They barely if I remember it correctly, they barely let us win, not win, but score a field goal. It was like everything we were doing back and forth. Nothing mattered. Nothing mattered. And I don't think Steve Young didn't play that game because he was already out, but I think it was Garcia. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. Hey, we got TJ in there. Check him out. Oh no, this is Pete. So sorry. You guys got similar. I wear glasses.
I was
But
supposed to. I can barely see my screen.
hey, Pete. Thanks for coming. So yeah, what's another Bronco game that you're not too fond of, or you are fond of? What's your thoughts of the Broncos overall versus the Niners?
We just shouldn't talk about last year's game because that was a travesty. I mean that was just too much going on with that game. Jimmy finally back. Trey gone. Everything was just too much. The Super Bowl obviously was a really good one for us.
Yeah.
I can't think of any great games with the Broncos in general.
I am not a big fan of the Broncos when we have to play them. They always seem to be a little bit, I'm not going to say stronger than us, but they're always tough to play, even when they have a bad season.
Yeah,
And
they're one of those teams that just for some reason, no matter how bad they are, they seem to play up to par when they go up against the good teams, but just they fumble it in the end.
yeah, they are. And the Chiefs used to be like that too. The Chiefs always used to be really tough. Now they're really explosive. They just totally become a super team. But they used to be like the Broncos, where and I think it kind of started with Kyle Shanahan. Mike Shanahan going over there and the TD and how they were able to just run people over. Terrell Davis, TD.
No,
So
he was a career is cut way too short due to injuries and concussions and everything. He probably would have broke all the records had he been able to play a full career.
So something really interesting. Well, not interesting. It's not like, oh wow, we share something in common. But the migraines that he suffers, I suffer similar migraines. And when I was in junior high, I got smashed by a truck, broke the back of my head, my head. So every once in a while, I need to go and lay down. I need to turn the lights off. I don't need sound. I need water. I need a rag over my face. It's bad. Tylenol's not helping. Liquor is not going to help. Nothing's going to help. I need to wait the time out. So for him,
My wife has suffered migraines. The 20 some
yeah,
odd years we've been together. So there's days where she's knocked out for a day or two just because she can't do anything. So I mean, and I couldn't imagine playing football with just getting your head smashed every minute and a half kind of thing. I just couldn't imagine doing that. It's insane that he lasted as long as he did.
oh man, and then for them to play with him as a decoy in the Super Bowl and say we need you on the field, even though you're not getting the ball, if we take you off right now, they know what we're going to be doing. So I think that's the moment where John Elway really took the game over. He's like, hey, I gotta do this. And he was a good quarterback, but
The diving touchdown. Was that
oh
game?
man,
Yeah.
he had the helicopter touchdown, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Same thing, yeah. So what's your thoughts on the rumor that they came out with just recently saying Carmen Policy and Bill Walsh were considering or were in talks of possibly getting John Elway, trading Joe Montana for John?
I understand why they would, especially if they wanted to do it like a more dynamic quarterback. Because obviously, back in the day, John Elway was, the Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, someone who could definitely move a lot more in the pocket. So I mean, I understand why they might have went that way, but I'm glad they didn't.
Oh yeah,
But it's
yeah.
like you could see it why. Okay, you got this guy who can actually move around with the pocket, do stuff like that, scramble. You know, he would be an earlier version of Steve probably.
Yeah, or maybe a more refined, Steve Young too. Just like more comfortable. I like John Elway. I think he was a really good quarterback. really good quarterback, and I think he played on some really good Denver teams. But I think he was what made Denver. And you imagine if he
Oh,
would have stayed in Indy, he would
oh
have had
man.
Marshall Falk, and Indy could have just been a powerhouse for a long time. So with that, moving to Indy and talking about, the Niners had an opportunity to get Peyton Manning. How do you think that would have changed our fortune if we would have snatched him instead of him going to Denver?
I don't think he would have made as big of a difference here as he would have in Denver.
Really?
Denver was more built to have someone with his skill set. He was well protected in Denver for especially that second year where he was even who was he benched for?
Brock Osweiler?
Yes, Osweiler. He was actually benched for him for a while. And then the Super Bowl, he was pretty much he was carried to that Super Bowl. You know, so yeah, I don't think we would have. I don't think he would have been as good here as he was in Denver.
I think we would have got a Super Bowl out of him, at least one, maybe two. I see what you're saying about the offensive line, but we had a pretty good line for that short period of time, and we had Gore, so they would have heavily ran the ball. But it's just something fun to think about. He definitely went to, and I don't think he would have really wanted to come to the Niners because he wanted a portion of ownership, didn't he? And I think that's what he ended up getting out
I think
of
so.
Denver.
Yeah, he was for. I don't think he's still part owner. I think he gave up part of that thing.
So now I think, if I'm correct, Walmart owns Denver, if I'm
Yep.
correct. So
So Denver could start getting good all of a sudden because they're gonna throw money at that team left and right to make them good.
yeah, because and have you noticed that too? Like when you're in Seattle or Washington, when you go up to Walmart and you go into the store, what do you typically see for the NFL teams? Is it only
Oh yeah.
the teams that are winning, or do you have like three teams that you always see every time you walk into Walmart? Here in California, I'm very upset. I'll walk into the Walmart, I'll walk into the store right where they usually have like because they always sell the crock pot, the NFL themed crock pot. And I'm in California. And what do you think I see? I see Cowboys, I see Steelers, I see some Patriot stuff. And I'm like looking at it and I'm like, where's the Niner one? Did it all sell out or what? Are you telling me the store got only 3 Niner crock pots and they sold like that? Now we get to look at this crap for the rest of, I don't know, next 6 months or something like that. I'm not, I don't know. So what's your thoughts on like memorabilia being sold in regions? Is it fair, or how would you describe that?
I mean, whatever you can get most of your stuff online. But when I go to Walmart, you see obviously mostly Seahawks. You'll see a couple of Raider stuff, obviously some Niner stuff, a lot of the Cali teams.
Yeah.
Occasionally you'll see some Cowboy stuff here and there, but for the most time it's mostly West Coast. And you'll see some Denver stuff, back in the old AFC rivalry they had with them. But I mean, it's actually being where I'm at. Actually, I'm right outside like a military base, so it's a good mixture of everything. I see
Yeah.
pretty much every team around.
Yeah, it just really bothers me. Growing up, my dad's a Raider fan. He told me for a long, long time, and he was right. Early 2000s, going into the 2000s, even when they had Jamarcus Russell, or their big quarterback, they were the number one team memorabilia. Everybody, they rocked Raider stuff. Or their fans went out and bought stuff, which was really, really neat. And I don't know if it's because the Niners started losing. I started finding all kinds of stuff in flea markets, thrift stores, and all kinds of vintage stuff. And maybe older 49er fans had passed away, or their stuff went to the Goodwill. But that's where I find my treasures. So
I
don't
get
really.
gifted a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
They all know that I'm loud and obnoxious about the team and everything like that up here. So people will just hand me random stuff all the time. Like, oh, I found this there. I found this there. I'm like, cool. So I've got a
Yeah.
collection of stuff that people just bring to me all the time. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome. The coolest gift I ever was given, and it was during Christmas. My dad got me a pair of socks, which I was like, all right, need socks for Christmas. And then I was given a pack of chewing gum, and I first opened it up and found out it was a pack of chewing gum. It's a Niner pack of chewing gum from, I want to say, like 1978, 1977. I got it in my box back here, but that's something cool. You're like, hey, for Christmas I got I got a pack of chewing gum, but I'm not
People look
open.
at you like, okay.
And that's that for somebody to have that pack of chewing gum and not open it. Well, you wouldn't want to open it anyways now, but to go that long and not get trashed or anything like that, that's pretty cool. You remember the Wheatie boxes?
Yeah.
My dad used to have the Raider Shield, and he had that for such a long time. I think we had a Niner one, but I can't remember what happened to it. Again, I'm a little bit younger. That I wasn't able to save everything, but yeah, my dad had the Raider box. We had a empty box of Raider Wheaties on the fridge for almost over a decade. It was crazy.
That's
So
funny that your dad was a Raiders fan too. 'Cause most of my family is Raiders fans. I'm the only Niner fan in the family. Actually, and
yeah,
then my older brother and his side of the family, they're all Steelers because we're all from Hawaii, so we can pretty much cheer for whoever we want. But that's funny that your dad was a Raiders fan, my dad was a Raiders fan. We used to go at it every time they played it.
yeah, yeah, always. All my brothers are Raider fans. They kind of lean towards my dad. None of them really watch football, but they know I'm a big 49er fan. So they kind of just jump on that side and and then they'll tell me, they'll drop things and say stuff like, oh, it's Raider Nation and, this and that. And I got to tell you, out of all the sayings in the league, Raider Nation, I agree that one sounds great. When people say it's Niner Nation, I'm like, that don't sound right. It doesn't sound right. I like to tell people it's Niner country. That to me sounds okay, acceptable because it's Niner country, minor country, and people call us the Empire. I like that too, but
Well, just like the flag, join the Empire.
yeah, yeah, and Faithful, I love that. We got some pretty cool names. So with you being in Hawaii, right? What's your thoughts on the Pro Bowl? Should it ever move around? Should it go back to Hawaii? I kind of really liked it in Hawaii.
So I miss it being in Hawaii, and being a military brat, we would get free tickets from from the base and everything. So we'd go there, and I remember one time. This is back when the Bud Light thing was taste great, less filling. So you got to remember, it's hot, it's Hawaii. There's a bunch of drunk people there, and everything just acting the fool. So me and my little brother started to chant, "Taste great, less filling." All of a sudden, there's all these people fighting in front of us over whether Bud Light was tasting great or less filling. I'm just like, what the hell did we start? Now I miss it in Hawaii because it comes here to Seattle. Okay, cool. Maybe some of the players have never been here to Seattle. There's not much to do, end of February when the Pro Bowl is here. It's raining, nothing else, like that, and it needs to be going after the Super Bowl again. I don't like it the week before, but because it's not a vacation for anybody. There's no incentive to go. Everybody's like, oh, the Pro Bowl is in Hawaii. Sure, I'll go out, goof off in the game, but I'll hang out with the family. It's more of a treat, if you would, versus hey, now the Pro Bowl is going to be in Green Bay. Who the hell is going to want to go to Green Bay at the end of the year to play a Pro Bowl or something like that? Now, if they took it to towns that didn't have football teams, like maybe they go to Portland
Yeah,
or somewhere in Oklahoma or something like that, that might be a better idea than what it is now, just going to NFL stadiums. Hosted at some big high school in the middle of nowhere. That would be cool, but definitely needs to go back to Hawaii. Definitely needs to go back to after the Super Bowl game.
I agree. I liked it in Hawaii because one, they got a big stadium over there. Hawaii doesn't get a lot of people going to that stadiums. They don't get a lot of people to have big concerts there at that stadium. I'm pretty sure that they do have concerts there, but it's just again, that stadium kind of was built for one goal. It had one purpose, right?
Football.
And you have the Pro Bowl coming, and if it was after the Super Bowl like it used to be, then you have Super Bowl players who sometimes can jump on, right? You can have players that are like, hey, I'm looking forward to it, not people that are cringing and being like, oh man, I didn't make the Super Bowl, but we got to go play the participation game. That doesn't sound like it's fun, and it doesn't sound like with the same concept, you don't take Canton, Ohio, the Hall of Fame game. That doesn't move around. They don't move that around. So I don't know. Like the draft, that's fine. Go ahead and move that around. That's fine. But Pro Bowl,
I get the draft.
I think Pro Bowl should definitely be back in Hawaii because it should be like a vacation. It should be a reward for the players. Like, hey, the season's over. You did really good this year. You getting to go to Hawaii. How do you like that? And I don't know. I always liked watching it, seeing the skill settings and all that stuff like that. But
I wish they put more emphasis on the skill stuff. Like I want to see them put a weight bench out there, and find out who actually is the strongest player in the NFL. Put a weight bench. They can do bench, do some deadlifts, maybe a squat. Stuff like that. Line everybody up and do a 100-yard dash. I think that would be probably one of the coolest things to see. Get every wide receiver, all the fast guys, line them all up. Like, look, now let's see who the best is.
yeah, yeah. And then you could have some fun stuff too. Maybe letting like all the sinners or something out there run, too, or make the
Oh
kicker
yeah,
run or something like that. I don't think I've ever seen a kicker run. So that'd be fun to see their 40 time.
so
But
everybody sends their slowest lineman.
to do it on purpose though, like whoever that'd be fun. But all right, so let's talk a little bit more about the Broncos. What are you looking forward to seeing in this preseason game? It's preseason. It's it is what it is, but I think we still need to go out there and show some kind of some kind of effort, some kind of something different than what we put out there against the Raiders. What's your thoughts?
I mean, I just want to see more cohesion from both sides of the line because both sides of the line looked absolutely pathetic last week. Um, we had heard all this good stuff about Kinlaw. I was really high on Kinlaw because I just heard about it from everybody was just raving about it, and then he was just getting pushed around. So I mean, that's the biggest thing I'm going to look forward is see if the lines are looking better, and that's going to can we block for whoever the hell is back there at quarterback? Because if that is as bad as the line was, nobody's going to prove themselves over the other one for the most part, at least during a game. It's hard to prove anything. Yes, you can. There are some things that they definitely could improve upon at quarterback, but until there's some sort of actually cohesive unit in front of them, I don't think we can get an actual answer to who. Obviously, we can argue for days which quarterback's going to start, but for the most part, it's going to be who's QB2. We're not going to know with who they're playing behind. So that's the biggest thing I want to see. I want to see, I'd like to also see Ronnie Bell continue to show up in the preseason. And, I think he's going to make this team. I hope your boy Jake Moody makes some more kicks. And I'd like to see Cameron Latu actually catch a damn pass for once. I mean, I wasn't big on that draft pick just because it's such a project. I understand why for the physical part of his game and everything, but he's just not looking good. Man, catch a break. He can't catch. It's like I forget who said it. Someone said like he can't catch a break, and he probably dropped that too.
Oh, geez, wow. Yeah, he I know a lot of people were like, with the picks and stuff this year, they really got upset. And then as the picks continued, we did get undrafted linemen. We did get, some other players that were undrafted. And, it's like, okay, you don't have to trust the process. You can voice your opinion. You can say what you want. Someone may or may not listen. You could be mad all season. But they went with this because the idea of their draft was they started looking at everybody at the bottom and started moving up and saying, okay, we can get this guy more than likely. We can get this guy and we can get this guy. And if this guy's here, when it's our pick and it's our very first pick, we're going after this guy. So they had a plan. Might not be what we want, but they had a plan. And yeah, Latu, if he can catch the ball and, hold on to it, because he's supposed to be able to get open really well. He's supposed to be like, he could be in the next
Great route runner.
Yeah. Yeah, he can do it, but if he can't hold on to the ball, I don't know. That's why Carlos Hyde isn't on the team anymore. They threw that one pass to him, and he dropped it, and Kyle looked at him and started shaking his head. He's not on the team no more. So,
if we want a tight end that just blocks, that's what we got Warner for.
Yeah.
Why draft another one? We already got one on the team.
Yeah, and if you're not going to throw the ball to a wide receiver who can catch, then why keep Dwelley, right? Because for whatever reason, Dwelley. I know Grant Cohn says a lot, and if you do pay attention to him, he does have really good hands, but they don't use him. Is it because he's just super slow, or I don't really know.
He's had a few clutch catches over the years, though, on third downs, touchdowns, stuff like that. But maybe he just doesn't seem to get the separation to where they trust him a whole lot.
Yeah, it's got to be something. And I think other people said it too. When they notice he's on the field, they know it's a pass. And when they see Warner on the field, they know it's a run. So maybe they need to switch that up a little bit. Or maybe, I want to say it, maybe Trent shouldn't be turning sideways, with his feet. Don't tip plays, buddy. Just because you're the best doesn't mean the rest is the best. They need all the help they can get.
Yeah, but
But,
it's still Trent Williams. I mean, he can have a tell all he wants. You still got to get around the man.
yep. Yeah. Did you hear any of those reports in practice? I know you and TJ break it down a lot, but Trent got beat by I want to say Austin Bryant, if I'm correct, and that's kind of cool. That's really cool. Not to get beat, but just to see the other guys are stepping up a little bit. We need that.
But I mean, every dog. I mean, you go against that same person over and over, you're going to get him a few times. But I mean, it's good to hear that some of these guys are pushing him a little bit. I would prefer to be like Bosa or Drake or somebody like that going up against him more often and beating him. But we'll take it.
That's a name I haven't heard too much about. Drake. Have you heard anything about Drake Jackson?
I've been pretty quiet this year, from what I understand. I mean, a lot of people are talking about the rookie Beal that's been playing really good, stuff like that. So that maybe he's actually the player that they need on the other side of Bosa versus Drake Jackson. So I've seen that pop up quite a few times. So
yeah, because I like to see Drake Jackson. I like to see him improve. They said last year, he didn't come in to shape correctly, and he was in shape, but not man shape or NFL shape. So
yeah, they said the most he'd ever played was 11 games in a season, not because he was hurt, but that's all he'd played. So he only knew how to condition himself for an 11-game season, and NFL season is damn near double plus whatever they play in the playoffs. And I just think he just ran out of gas at the end, is what they were saying. Which, if your high school and college career, all you've ever played is 11 games, I kind of understand that. You're adding 7 more to it and everything. It's like, okay, that's a lot. It's almost double the season all over again.
Why do you think these players are getting picked like this? Why do you think they're coming in with as little amount of, I don't know, practice, a little talent, not talent necessarily, but experience? That's the word I was looking for. Why do you
college
think
games are different? The way college is set up, you have your cupcake games quite often. They don't play as many overall games in general. So that's the only thing I can think of. It's like with the offense and the quarterbacks, everybody in college football seems to be going to the air raid style offenses. No one's really a ground and pound game anymore. But when you get to NFL, there's a lot more. You're seeing the NFL switch over to more air raid style offenses, but they're slow in getting to that style.
How many players can be on a college roster? I know that's a big deal too, because they seem to have like 90 guys or something like that. It's they got a big roster, and I know a lot of players
I swear there's like 100.
Yeah. Jeez. Wow.
Let's see how many.
But they do. They definitely have a lot of rotation. So I know there's players that don't necessarily get to play like they should. But it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's just a change of decision making or something like that. Because I know a lot of players in high school they play multiple sports, but when not everybody can.
When it comes to college football, things are vastly different. Not only is there no clear limit to how many players you can have on a team, there is no practice team. Most universities will have 100 or more on their roster at one time, including some of the bigger schools having up to 125.
Wow.
That's a lot of people.
Wow. So, oh man. So think of the Ducks. The Oregon Ducks, and you know how they have like multiple uniforms. Like,
it's a lot of uniforms to make.
And that's a lot of uniforms to make over and over.
Yeah, but that's Nike money. They're good because that's partly just advertising for them. So they don't give a damn.
Yeah, Nike money is like almost like FU money for them. They're like, it's just another,
They're just trying stuff out to what next brand thing they're going to push out. They're like, this is good. Now we'll try this.
They're like, we don't like it, but go ahead, run with it anyways. They'll wear it next week.
Somebody will wear it. People start buying this jersey. They'll buy this hat. They don't give a damn. I think at some point they're just trying to see how ugly stuff can get to see if people will still buy it.
Oh boy. Well, that's so that Under Armour is a really cool product that's come out. And when I was playing football, I started seeing stuff like this start to pop out. It wasn't maybe, maybe it was out there and I just wasn't, knowing of it. I was playing football in like 2000. But what the first thing I seen is one of my buddies, he had a rib jacket on or whatnot, and it had rib pads underneath, so your shoulder pads went up here and your rib pads. I thought that was, they look like suspenders or almost like a back brace. I thought that was really cool. I don't know if it helped him, but he didn't really start. But regardless, he he probably didn't get hurt. But with that, like, I think you've seen it. We've seen the Zeke Elliott kind of pictures where he's out there in like a tank top, but they got crazier. And Kyler Murray just had it. Trey Lance had it a year just recently. What's up with like the half
the sports bra thing?
Yeah,
It's a heart monitor. That's all it is. Everybody's freaking out about it. It's just a heart monitor. Pretty much everybody in the NFL has worn one at some point, just to monitor your heart and stuff like that. Hell, I had one on Monday.
Okay.
So I mean, yeah, it's all just a heart monitor.
Yeah, I'm like looking at it. I'm like, is it supposed to like hold you up a little bit better so you got more strength in your upper body or something? Like, again, that's why I like asking questions. I think a dumb question is one that you're not willing to ask. If you don't ask it because you're afraid that someone say, "Hey, that's dumb." Well, I mean, don't be dumb. Don't be afraid to like Miss Frizzle said in the Magic School Bus, get messy, make mistakes.
You don't learn unless you try.
Right. So, oh man. So, okay, we got Under Armour protection. What's your thoughts on the helmets with the bubble wrap? Do you think they're gonna eventually put that out there?
I hope so. So, I've had 7 concussions in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I am all for head protection and stuff like that. Funny, none of my concussions have actually come from football though. But so me, I'm probably gonna get. They've already told me I'm probably gonna get like early Alzheimer's, dementia, something like that, all that kind of stuff. So I mean, seeing these guys, especially lately, the last few years, like Tua, when Tua was on the field twitching last year, terrified me. I'm like, holy shit, that hit home. A lot of that stuff hits home for me.
Yes.
Now, yes, those paddings that they wear at practice are ugly, but my thought is, why couldn't you just like smooth it out a little bit? Then you can start putting the logos on there or something like that, or find a way of putting it on the inside of the helmet, which I don't know, might look kind of funny because then the helmet comes all the way out to like here from the inside. Or do what they did in the day where they put those the rubber pads over the top of the helmets.
Yeah.
I forget who was that the Niner tackle that had him. His name is escaping me, but he was famous for it because he's like, I don't want concussions and all the head injuries. So I'm all for it. I hope they go towards those helmets sooner rather than later because the sport is getting more violent. Guys are getting bigger, faster, stronger. So those types of head injuries are just going to get worse.
I agree. You sure, you want to look good. You want to be able to look down there and not look like the guys look, but they already look weird enough, and
yeah.
They're wearing pads for a reason. So, you can't be cute running around out there, I think the girls always say it's about the butts, or whatever, so, they want that to stay there. And the guys don't have to wear butt pads, so
they barely even wear any pads.
Exactly. But the helmet and the shoulder pads are the most important. And I think you just have to, if it means safety and it means, like you just said, you don't later on in life have dementia or have Alzheimer's, sometimes you can't prevent that. It's in your genes, it's in my genes too. And it's supposedly, if I'm correct, it comes from your mother's side of the family. It comes from her mother, her great grandmother, right, or her grandmother. Then it goes to your grandfather. Then it would pass on to your mom. So then it passes on to her first, supposedly. So like I'm her firstborn, and so then if I have a daughter, which I do, it would more than likely. That's the way I've heard. It trickled down. It goes from the grandmother to the son to the daughter to the son, grandson, and vice versa. So hopefully by then,
people play rugby. You don't see these kind of issues in rugby because they know how to hit. In the NFL, it's all about putting your head down, getting your helmet in there and stuff like that. Whatever happened to just breaking down and using your shoulder to tackle somebody? We don't do that anymore. You got to make that highlight ESPN play where you're just knocking somebody out. Just wrap up. That's why watching Jameer Brown play last week, I loved watching him actually tackle people. He wasn't going for those highlight plays or anything like that. I actually loved seeing that he was actually wrapping people up and bringing them down.
Yeah, I agree. You got to tackle, and one of the big things for me for a long time with the Niners is it seems like our corners don't want to tackle. They didn't want to tackle for a long time, and maybe that's somebody. Maybe people have different opinions to that, but I just don't. For a long time, it just seemed like that was always our and corners was always our problem. We'd go down the field, and then there would be a flag, and it was a pass interference or something like that. And my dad explained it to me one day. He said the reason they do that is not so they don't give up the big play. It's so they can stop them from scoring a touchdown and potentially hold them to a field goal, or they don't score so fast. It takes a little bit of time off the clock, and then your team can get the ball and go out and close out the game. So sometimes it is about like, oh, okay, let them get down there real quick. Jam them up if you can. You take that much more time, and but I got a friend down here. Let's bring him on in, and we'll continue the show for a couple more minutes. And we appreciate everybody coming. It is the Coffee Talk Show. We're talking Niners. We appreciate y'all coming. This is my faithful cup. My wife made it, and it says faithful on the other side of it. It is very true and dear to me. It's been, she's made this maybe 7 years ago for me, I imagine. So it's not broken, and if it ever breaks, she'll make another one because I'm faithful, and I know she'll know how to replicate it.
I got an idea for the new one. We make it look like a definition, faithful, and then put the definition down, but then you say, see pitcher Bryant.
And that cup was actually one of the gifts I told you people bring to my house. That was one of them.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Morning. How's it going, brother?
Man, I was a little surprised. I got up at 7:30. Thought I was going to be early. I was in the middle of the show.
Yeah, I
wait a minute.
Very excited, very hesitant to do the show. I'm going to be leaving shortly after this.
We started on Mountain Time because we're playing the Broncos.
Yeah. So I'm just getting everything taken care of before then, and having a nice conversation about the Broncos and Niners. And the first thing I think I asked Jason, I'll ask you too, Ryan. Do you remember the beating we got against the Broncos? It was the last game of Mile High.
Our last game at Mile High?
Yeah, Denver's last game.
You're talking about game 3 last year?
No, at Mile High. At their old stadium. Before they moved into their new stadium.
Oh, they're not at Mile High anymore. Oh, I didn't know that.
So they still are at Mile High. It's just it's different. They rebranded.
And
I don't care about the branding of the name. I don't keep up with that bullshit. I don't care. If it's the actual stadium, do you think I called Candlestick 3Com? No. Don't do that. I
called it Monster Park.
I don't think I ever called it.
I still call whatever the Seahawks field. I still call it the Clink.
CenturyLink. Yeah, the Clink.
I don't even think it's CenturyLink anymore. Lumen? Is it Lumen?
Yeah, it's Lumen Field. Lumen Field.
Yeah, see, I don't care. I call it the Clink. Like the first name I learn, I'm sticking with, bro. I just, and it's not
Pittsburgh
that I'm
will always be
stubborn or anything. Right. I can't tell you. It probably has to do with ketchup or something now, but I don't.
Okay.
I don't know.
December 23rd, 2000. This was the date of the final Denver Bronco game played at Mile High Stadium. The Broncos routed the San Francisco 49ers 38-9. It was horrible. It was a televised game. I believe, if I'm correct, it was a Sunday night game. It was either Sunday night or Monday night. They just routed us. It wasn't fun to watch at all. It wasn't. And but yeah, they won. And it's one of those things. It's like this last game of their stadium. They have all their fans. They want to, have that Orange Crush feeling going out strong. And, I don't think some games aren't fair. And you just know walking into it, we might get our ass kicked in this game. It's one of those things. I'm going to still watch it. I'm going to root for my team as hard as I can. But sometimes we just don't have a chance. We just don't. So. I think today, though, we'll have a chance. I'm looking forward to it. I seen Joe pop in here earlier. He said, hey, have fun at the game, Brian and Tony. And said something about Russ. So I'll tell Russell Wilson hello for him if I see him, and maybe we can get that. I'll try to get him to pose. Let's ride or something like that for Joe. He played really horrible last game, so hopefully he plays against us today, and I'd like to see him out there for a series or two. What's your guys' thoughts on Russell Wilson? Is he over the moon? Does he still have a little bit left in him, or should he have hung it up a year or two ago? Let's go with
I think
Jason.
he might get 1 or 2 more years out of him. I think that magic's gone that he had for the most part. You know, they caught lightning in a bottle in Seattle, but he's got some good weapons around him, so maybe they can get a couple of good years out of him. But I don't think he's going to go, 5-6 years, making a couple of Super Bowls or anything like that.
Yeah, I don't
What do
see
you
that
think?
either. No, I think I agree. I feel we've seen the start to the end. I don't think he's totally sold yet, but I think last year I think was like the wake up moment for him. And I think it kind of showed him what the real truth is about himself. And I think he got scared. You know what I mean? He didn't think he was like this. You know what I mean? He didn't know that things could be like this. Not saying it's all on him, but I just don't.
He wasn't as elite as he thought he was. And there's been even I've seen interviews with Pete Carroll that's saying that, they covered up a lot of his stuff by how they played and the play calls. So, I mean, which I know every team does, but nobody
I don't know if
says
Sean.
so.
I don't know if Sean Payton's going to be able to coach around the declining skill. That's how I'm gonna form it. I don't think he's going to be able to coach around the declining skill.
Well,
So
I mean, he
he
didn't do too bad with Breeze when he was declining his last couple of years. So maybe they can do something with that aspect. So I mean, he has done it with a declining quarterback.
But Breeze doesn't smell his own farts and go, you know what I mean?
Smells good.
Like,
yeah, there's that part. Yeah,
right. Like Breeze, even though he might, not be able to accept all reality. You know what I mean? Maybe there's some things he can't understand, but I'm sure you could sit down and have a regular conversation with Russell Wilson. I can't remember who he worked with, but he worked with a guy who pretty much told him you have to keep all the negative ideas out of your head. So if you're trying to explain to him what's going wrong, if it sounds negative at all, he has to forget you even said it, because you can't mess with the greatness. Because if he can't feel that he's great, it throws off his whole system. So he can't even accept that there's anything that's bad. Everything has to be good. So if you're doing mental gymnastics just to play football, I think you're holding on by a thin thread at that point in time. Wait when the world comes tumbling down on him and he can't run away from you're not good. It's going to be a bad thing for him.
I always thought he was just fake. It's like his whole personality is just completely fake. And with me living up here, you just hate him because you're a 49er fan. I'm like, no, there is something about Russell Wilson that is completely, his whole mantra is completely fake and made up and everything. And then he goes to Denver and it doesn't work, and it just started falling apart.
Dude, he really started looking fake when he moved to Denver. I mean, he started really acting like, I was like, wait, what is this? You're matching your vehicle to your suit? Like, what is going on here? Like, where'd this come from out of the middle of nowhere?
He was more prima donna than pretty much any wide receiver had ever been before.
Yes. Go ahead, Brian.
There's definitely something that's off with him a little bit, and it is little. I don't know. It's now the lights are really on him because he left Seattle. You see stuff up there in Seattle, but I think Pete Carroll covered a lot of it up, and I think the Legion of Boom covered it up too. With Richard Sherman just being vocal the way he was, some of the stuff that was happening, his mannerisms and stuff, was going under the table because all you seen was he was the quiet, quarterback that got him to the Super Bowl, and he threw that pass, but he was told to throw that pass. It was intercepted, but they could have won 2 Super Bowls. Because Russell Wilson plays his style of football, his backyard style of football. Well, it doesn't work everywhere. And if you don't have a good line, or if you don't, if your players don't know, hey, I'm going to run around back here for a couple of seconds, you need to go get open, keep playing, don't stop. Maybe now Denver will be able to adjust to him with this new season, but I don't know. I don't think he's the same Russell Wilson he was when he first came in. I don't know if it's an injury that he has or if there's a mental thing, because he definitely, like Ryan said, there's some mannerisms and things that's now being brought to light. It's one of those things like Denver, you now know because he's in Denver. Aaron Rodgers, everybody's like, he's a great quarterback, but his mannerisms, his personality, people in Green Bay didn't like Aaron Rodgers when they seen him at the supermarket and stuff. So now it's like Russell Wilson's that guy.
I got a tin hat. What if Pete Carroll didn't call that play on the goal line there, and Russell Wilson, being Russell Wilson and being so smart, he decided to change the play after it came in the huddle. And because it went so badly, I have a feeling that Pete Carroll had to fall on the sword there and say, yeah, I called that play. Because it could have really, messed with his quarterback at that time. Even though his quarterback's the one I feel who changed the play and causing the game to end. I have a feeling.
I have heard that theory, but I have heard that before.
That's possible.
When Pete explained, when I heard Pete talk about it, I didn't feel confident that he was sorry enough. You know what I mean? Like somebody who really would have done it and really feels bad. Like if you go look at Jaquiski Tartt and you ask him about the interception he dropped, I'm sure he's going to want to be anywhere but where he is at that moment, because he feels uncomfortable, because he knows that he could have changed the course of the game and he didn't. You know what I mean? Pete Carroll did not have that same feeling when I heard him talk about it. You know what I mean? That same type of shame or disgust that he might have towards themselves when thinking back on a moment where they could have done something good and won the game, but didn't. You know what I'm saying? I never got that when Pete was ever explaining how he called that play. It was just kind of like, yeah, I called it. Mistakes happen. Okay, let's move on. You know what I mean? I'm not, let's just move on something like that the first time I talk about something. I'm going to try and profuse my sorriness to everybody, so even people in the reach of those people might hear that I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Because, I truly feel bad. Anybody in that situation should.
So,
Man 3.
It's definitely something to think about. But the way the rest of the team, the way the rest of the team acted, the Legion of Boom, Beast Mode, it seems like there definitely was a divide, and it definitely seems like Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson was on their own island. So if there was a change of plan, or if they did say, take the shot if you see it, maybe that's what happened. Maybe Pete's like, okay, you can change your play. If you see the opportunity, take your shot. I have a sore feeling to this. I feel like we got stabbed a little bit, because it makes me feel like the Kaepernick Super Bowl, where we tried, Crabtree 4 times in the end zone and we couldn't get it done. So here comes Seattle, right? And yeah, they won their first Super Bowl, and then their second one, I feel like this is where they tried to top us, like this is the one where they're like, okay, we're going to show the Niners how to do it, right? And that's when they
got to be clever.
And I kind of feel like, hey, at that point, they kind of to me, that's what it seemed like. They were going to try to show us, this is how you do it. And it's not fun when it goes down that way. But I just, again, it's like, it was, why run the ball? Why throw the ball when you have beast mode like that? He could have fell into the end zone. Just like, he could have put his arm over the line, and I don't know, but hey,
we can say the same thing about that when we had Gore.
Yep.
So
and
it's hard for us to criticize when we did the same thing.
Exactly. And my only thing is I really truly believe that's what they try to do is just top us. You know, they're like, oh, we're going to show you guys how to, and it just didn't work out for us. But Jason, that's a good point you bring up. It's you look at it and you're like, Gore ran the ball all the way down there. You know, it was like he could have got a shot. He could have got one shot, but no. You want to try to make Kaepernick a prolific quarterback, passing quarterback, and he could throw the ball, but our team was set up to run. You know, bootleg out, then throw. You know,
Just like those Seahawks.
Boom. So, guys, the game's going to start in a little bit. I hope you guys have something good to eat today, a good barbecue to go to, something fun. Again, I'm going to go today. We're going to be over there a little earlier. There's going to be a game rally, a prep rally that we're going to. It's called the Red and Gold Rally. Yeah, I think that's what it's called, the Red and Gold Rally. And I guess it's a little bit away from the stadium. It's in Great America's parking lot or something like that. They have a roller coaster. It's all set up for Niner fans. They're going to have a big barbecue. Some players might come. Retired players might show up. They'll have the cheerleaders, and it's just going to be awesome. We're just going to go from there. And then hopefully I get to meet up with TJ. Oh, sorry, Red Zone Rally. Thank you, Tony. See, that's why I love Tony. She keeps me straight and honest, and you know, got to keep her around. She's got to keep me around. Let's just say it, like, please, right? But yeah,
we also got Kylie Young in the house.
Yeah, Callie just jumped in here. Thank you, Callie, for coming. Ty, we haven't really shouted anybody out. Scott Hill, we see you guys. You guys are awesome. Today was the first day I tried it. I streamed on Facebook and I streamed on Twitch as well. And I don't really think I'm going to do it too often, but I just want to see how it worked. And no glitches this morning, so that's good. Sorry, guys. I have sometimes I have those power issues. I like to say I have a ghost or something in the house, and yeah, it could be true. But if you ever see me black out and you guys are talking, just keep talking. I'll try to come back in as fast as I can.
And not from too many beers.
No.
Wrong kind of pass.
You got to specify.
Yeah, you know, because I'm not afraid to have a beer, but if you have too many beers, yeah, you can't do too much.
Brian's blacking out at 8:00. It's Sunday morning.
Doesn't even make it to the rally.
No,
he doesn't even make it. He's blacking out beforehand.
That was my problem.
I stopped drunk in the parking lot during the game.
That was my problem. The last game we went to, I think 2 years ago, we went to the home opener against the Packers, the Niners and Packer game, and me and Tony, we were excited. So the night before, we were having a couple beers. Didn't drink too many beers, but we had a couple beers, maybe too late at night, you know, because I think it was like 11 or 12. I was still having a beer. And wake up the next morning, and I just had a headache. You know, I'm like, oh man, now I gotta go drive. You know, and you know, I'm not. I've always been the guy in the family that has a driving job, and I hate driving. It's like I don't want to drive. I'd rather walk. But you guys want to drive. Like I like cars, you know. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to be in a car. And for a long time, I've been either a truck driver or I've done this type of, you know, something to do with a car. You know, so I've even been a mechanic. So it's really funny. So driving over there and I'm just getting sick and feeling all, you know, and I don't like AC either in the car. I don't want to drive when it's hot either, but it just doesn't. So get over there and we get up to the stadium and I found
happy?
Well, see, like, you know, some people get car sick, right? You know, and it's because you know, I found out when I was younger, I got car sick in cars that used to have red material. You guys remember jumping in, and it wasn't vinyl. It was like that. I don't know. I don't know what you call it, cloth material. I don't know what you call it, but it looked like a couch.
The furry stuff.
Yeah.
My grandparents had like the velvet kind of feel. They were in a Buick, right? So they had the Buick upholstery, and I don't know what it was. In long car rides, I was always get sick of their vehicle. I couldn't do anything but like look at the back of the seat. If I looked at a piece of paper or out the window, I was fucked.
Yeah.
So I don't know. There might be something there because I never got seasick. I never got car sick except for when I was in that stupid Buick.
I've never
and it
heard
was like an hour plus trip. And it was like, I don't know what it was. I'm weird. I can't believe you brought that up because I'm like, I don't know why I was ever seasick. My mom literally had the same Buick, except the upholstery was blue.
I don't know. Every time I got in that old red Ford pickup truck, and it wasn't old, it was just, I think it was a 90s or 80s model. No, it was an 80s model. And get into it and just end up getting sick. So I try to be careful. And then I don't know why, but maybe she's just too close to me, or, Lily, she gets car sick too. So I always tell her when, you're going, make sure you get by a window. And if you're riding with other people, tell them, hey, I get car sick. That kind of trumps everybody when they're like, oh, I wanted to sit by the window. Here's my card. Like move over. You want to get sick? You're not getting sick.
Put the puker towards the window.
Yep. So, nobody likes car sick, but no, I got over there to the Packer game. And if you ever see the stadium, there's all these stairs and stuff like that. Well, I learned the hard way carrying a baby, cause we took Holly, and I had my blanket with my blanket, not her blanket. Right. And I have the diaper bag, and we're walking, I'm walking all these stairs. And then I start seeing there's the escalator. I think I'm going to take that now. So finally get into the stadium seats. And, sometimes, if you haven't been somewhere, and you ask a question, again, you shouldn't be afraid to ask a dumb question, but you ask somebody, hey, where's this section? And they point like that way. You're like, well, where is that way? Can you oh, it's over there. You're like, thanks. I got a baby. I got all this, and how do I get over there? Oh, you take that stair. Okay. And then just go that way,
Check out Damien's comment. His last one, right above Tony's.
Damien's a trip, man. He has some of the best one-liners I've ever got from somebody.
Yeah, Damien's cool. He's strong in the Force. The Force is strong in him. And Damien's really cool. He lives in Texas, so he's
Cowboy territory.
About as bad as living up here in Seahawk country.
That's just as bad. Just as bad, I don't know what's worse there. And you can't really think about it any other place. Like Cowboys or Seattle is probably the two worst places for 49er fans. We can deal with Pittsburgh, we can deal with Green Bay and New York and all these other places, but
at least here in Washington, you can walk into the opposing fan's household and their TV still works.
And that's something too, I don't go into a lot of people's homes and see holes punched into the walls and stuff like that, and I'm a maintenance guy. But, you find out that they're a Cowboys fan, you definitely look around a little bit more, and you start looking, is that a new TV? And I was actually in an apartment the other day, and somebody was a Cowboy fan, and I did actually walk by and say, is that a new TV? And they started giggling. I didn't punch my TV. I was laughing because they know. Well, guys,
I'm not punching my
in
TV.
The Raiders.
Nope.
In the Raiders fans' apartments, do you find a whole bunch of evidence and such?
No.
Just body bags.
No, it's really neat though. Sometimes you find
Ankle bracelets and lock picks.
Prison ships.
Hey,
prison ships and lock picks.
The last apartment I had to go into, it was recently that somebody moved out. They moved out and left all their stuff. How many stripper poles do you think they left? Just right?
3.
The answer should be 1, right? No, they left 2. You're like 2, okay? Like,
oh God.
They had 1 in the living room and 1 in the bedroom. And I'm looking at my coworker, and I'm like, "Hey, you want to take that one home with you?" And he's like, "Are you taking the other one with you?" I'm like, "No, I ain't taking it home. I'm not falling off that thing trying to be cute and break my neck." Tony would be like, "Oh my God." No.
The lady must have lived there, must have been a stripper. Must if there's 2 of them and they're in separate places, it wasn't because a guy had multiple chicks. So you know what I mean? So it wasn't like it was a Mac. It must have been the dancer. Sorry. They don't like to be called strippers, but I really don't care. I used to work with them. I was a bouncer at the Deja Vu in Everett. It was right before it closed. The owner got murdered in his garage. It was a Russian dude who walked out into his garage and got shot in the back of the head. You know what I mean? It was Russian mafia shit. and some guy comes in and like he comes in to close this strip joint, and he's like, well, this is the last night this place is open, boys. He says, we're gonna have a blast. He starts throwing money down to the strippers, like, you guys gonna do some crazy shit tonight? Like, he had them like, I didn't get to see nothing because he was like, there's be some crazy shit going on, so you need to be outside making sure the police aren't coming, right? So he's fucking paying these girls in the shower. I don't know what's going on, but he's paying them hella money in the shower to kind of, yeah. So that was the last night at the Everett Deja Vu.
Sounds like every deja vu in the state.
Well, okay, real quick before we get out of here, guys, because I do need to start preparing, but
Pax Day, man.
thank you both. Thank you very much for both coming and everyone for watching.
Was
It's been
this
a lot
a
of fun.
stripper owner getting murdered that did it? Too much?
But so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go around the table real quick and everybody give us your thoughts on the game, final thoughts, what your outcome. Again, the score doesn't really matter, but I want to hear what you think. We'll start with Jason, and then we'll tell everybody where we can find each other, and go Niners. So Jason, how are you doing? How's the game looking for you?
Like we had talked about earlier, I want to see definitely improvements in the O-line. And the defensive line just in general, because we're not going to get any answer at quarterback at all until we get some improvement up front. So I'm less worried about the quarterbacks than I am wanting to see more cohesion up front. And I definitely want to see more pressure coming from the defensive line. So I'm not as big on the quarterback issue as a lot of other people seem to be right now, because I'd rather see the lines get fixed. Because if we have someone, we're set as starters go, but a lot of us have been worried about what it looks like when some of those starters go down, and it looks ugly right now.
Yeah, I like that, because if you look at the Raider game and you look at our game, both sides of the ball, the O-line and the D-line, they are just way better than us. And I don't like people saying, oh, well, we don't scheme, or, we don't give it a full effort because it's preseason. We just want to come away not injured. You don't want to be injured in any game. So that should always be your mentality, is to walk away, right? But the way the Raiders were like lining up at us, they were spearing us. They were attacking us. The Niners, they were like, okay, let's go. Ready, break, and then walking up to the line, and it was just like there was no aggression. It was like we were all hungover or something. It looked like we were all tired, or like, oh, we're still playing the game. Oh yeah, a couple more minutes. Yeah, and I don't like that. I really don't. So I agree. I think it would be a lot better to see these guys start attacking each other and getting off and seeing what the changes that we need to do to the O and the D line to make them be able to be backups. Because if somebody does go down at this point, we don't look very good. And maybe that's what they're trying to do, is hide our guys so no one gets poached or something. But then if you're not letting the guy show what he can do in the game, and this is game situation, then what's it going to do when it is a real game and we really are counting on you? Oh, yeah, I got to go in, coach. That's right. You know where my helmet's at? No, we don't need that. We need guys that are we're going. So, Ryan, what's your thoughts?
I just want to say sorry to Kali. It's no BS, bro. You're not going to get no bullshit around here. You're going to get the full. I'm the realist. I'm the realest of us all.
Yep. And if you don't know, then you'll have to go back and rewatch, because it's a pretty good show, and we'll just put it out there like that. It's friendship.
The 8 hour.
Yep.
The 8 hour train wreck. Yes.
But
probably that's there.
That's funny. So Ryan, what do you got going on, dude? Let's see what you got going on, or what you got planned. Any upcoming events or anything that you are looking forward to doing special?
I don't know. I might try some Tecmo Bowl tonight. I'm not sure. Who knows? So check out for that. I got a HDMI splitter now in my emulator, so hopefully my video capture card isn't broken now. I moved my I moved my streaming setup and something wasn't like moving correctly, and I just kind of went like this. The next thing I know, my thing is kind of bent, so I don't know if the USB is still attached correctly or not. So we'll figure that out. But yeah, I might even just do Top Gun. Who knows? I might just sit there. We might talk about 49er stuff as I play Top Gun, because I like shooting the bombers down.
Awesome. Yep, video games are fun. I don't play very often. I get headaches, and some of the games moving around. You guys remember James Bond, like 007, where you could go in between the character, where like you're moving around with the gun, and it just the transparency thing really messes with me. It does.
Oh, you're talking about GoldenEye on the Nintendo 64?
Probably.
I love
Probably.
that game.
Where they can blink in.
So many hours into that game.
I need to change the interior. Your red interior is causing you to get sick.
But no, and then with Madden, I love playing Madden. I usually play it with Lily, but she won't let me play with the 49ers. She likes being the Niners, so I usually play the team we were playing. And then she gets mad if Jimmy Garoppolo throws an interception, and I'm very, very proud of her when he does.
We all do.
We all do. I'm like, yep, that's my little girl, right? But she really does really good.
She's gonna go far.
I've had to stop playing with her because she's beating me, and yeah, it's not fun anymore because it's not fun getting beat by her. She talks too much. I go walking through the kitchen. Hey, Dad, want to play some Madden? No.
Hey, is she getting to play Madden with anybody else?
She tries to play with my younger brother, and she tries to play with her mom, and it just
Brian,
they don't play very well.
If she's good, don't because she's whooping your butt. Don't stop giving her that challenge. You know what I mean? Because how's she gonna get better? Well, she's not gonna get better playing someone like you. But I'm joking.
But that's true though. So like before we leave, right, guys, if you play a game, you have to play against better opponents, better competition. If you don't, you won't ever get better. I like playing chess. I really like playing chess. I've been playing it since I was 4 years old, but I'm not a grandmaster. I'm not anything like that. And I've played against grandmasters, and they can finish you pretty quick. I know a couple moves, and I can get you in checkmate pretty fast, and I can play a really long game with you too. But when you know some of those key moves and stuff like that, it's just like now it's in the back of your head. You're a master. You're not a novice. And it's the same thing with any sport. If you're better, the only way you can continue to be better is if you continue to push yourself or play, competition that is above you. So like for me playing her, I'm going to get better. She's not going to get better. But same thing is like if she plays me against chess, she'll get better. I'm not going to get better. I need to go play somebody else who's got more skills.
We should play each other chess sometime, Brian, live. We should do that.
We could try to do that. Definitely do that. So guys, with that, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Jason, please tell everybody your guys' YouTube channel, what you guys do, where we can find you. And yeah.
We run the Niner Faithful radio show. We go live every Tuesday. We're still working on getting the Friday shows up and going again, trying to figure that out. But yeah, you can find us on any social media at Niner Faithful Radio. That's all we have for us.
What time do you do it on Tuesday?
4:30 for right now. Usually it's 4:30. We gotta wait for TJ because he has to come home from work. So sometimes it starts a little bit late depending on how the bus is running whenever he gets home. So, but typically it's at 4:30.
Yeah, and I think oh my gosh, it's escaping me right now. But I think you guys have a special guest coming on Tuesday if the person can make it. So you guys would definitely have to tune in to see who that is. So
it's been a crazy week for me. I completely forgot about that part.
Oh no. I
started my Monday by going to the hospital, so this whole week has been like a blur to me. I'm like, what? It's the weekend? Shit.
This week did not come fast enough for me. It really did not. But guys,
hopefully you guys can get together at the game and you guys can go live and do a little talking from the stadium and everything.
Yeah, I sent him my number. TJ.
Who are you trying to get? Oh, gotcha.
TJ, the guy I host the show with on Niner Faith
Yeah,
Radio.
yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna try to meet up, and I sent him my number on Twitter, so hopefully he texts me later, and try to meet him somewhere, and say hey to him. But guys, man, thank you again. Hope to see you guys again here real soon. Everybody in the chat, you guys were popping, and if you can do me a favor and hit the like button, tell a friend. It doesn't have to be a Niner fan, just a football friend. If you ever want to
Did
come
you
in
hit
and talk,
your own like button?
I do it every time. You do that to start out. It makes you feel good. At least you got one thumb up,
Oh.
right?
I
And with that,
did
guys,
last night.
right? You got to. If you don't, then it just is weird, right? You should always be
It's the
your
new
biggest
thing.
supporter, right?
If you can't do yourself, nobody else will.
Right? If you pull into a show and you got like 5 people, 6 people on a panel, and there's not 5 or 6 likes, what are the guys on the panel doing? You guys are having too much fun. Do the homework. Go to the phone. Let's go. Appreciate you guys as always. If you ever want to come on, just put it in the chat. We'll try to bring you on sometime. Jason, thank you again. Dude, we'll have to do this again. And Ryan, you're the realest of us all. Appreciate you. And go Niners, guys.
Go Niners.
And as David McNider would say, F the Lambs.